A deep, eerie hum fills the air, a sonar ping echoing through the abyss. The screen flickers, revealing the rusted remains of a long-lost submarine, swallowed by the darkness of the ocean floor. The camera slowly zooms in, the tension mounting as a faint transmission crackles through the speakers. A voice, distorted and trembling, whispers its final words: "If anyone finds this, run." This is not just another shipwreck. This is a story buried under decades of secrecy. A mystery so disturbing that even the most hardened experts refuse to speak of it. A submarine that vanished without a trace, only to reappear in a place it should have never reached. No signs of external damage. No survivors. Just an empty shell, and inside, something far worse than anyone could have imagined. But what really happened to the crew? What horrors unfolded in those final moments before the radio went silent? The answers lie within the pages of a chilling logbook discovered among the wreckage. A diary that holds the last desperate words of those who lived through the nightmare. Some say it was an accident. Others believe it was something else. Something watching. Something waiting. Tonight, you're going to hear the truth. But be warned. Once you learn what they found, you'll never forget it. Some things are meant to stay buried, and some mysteries are better left unsolved. What you're about to witness may haunt you forever. If you're ready to go deeper, if you're prepared to face the unknown, then stay with me. But don't say I didn't warn you. Subscribe now, turn on notifications, and prepare yourself for the terrifying secrets hidden within the lost submarine. Because once you hear them, there's no turning back. It was the summer of 1972 when the SS Valiant, a state-of-the-art submarine, set sail from the shores of Portsmouth, England. A mission unlike any other. Its purpose was to venture into uncharted waters in the deepest parts of the Atlantic Ocean, an area where no human had ever explored. Its crew of 42 men, each one highly trained and experienced, were tasked with gathering intelligence and mapping unknown underwater landscapes. Their mission was critical, and success was their only option. They were supposed to be gone for weeks, but what was supposed to be a routine expedition quickly turned into a nightmare. As the SS Valiant descended into the dark depths, communication between the submarine and command was steady at first. The crew sent regular updates, each message as calm and professional as the last. Everything seemed normal. But then, the messages started to shift. The tone in the crew's reports grew more tense. Their routine was interrupted by strange occurrences. The sonar started picking up unexplained sounds, low, deep rumbles, and what they described as scraping noises against the hull. At first, the captain, Commander Richard Evans, dismissed it as a malfunction. But as the noises continued, they became harder to ignore. "We believe it's some sort of underwater current," he wrote in his log. But it was more than that. Far more. The final communication came just a few hours before the SS Valiant went silent. The words were chilling, almost as if they were trying to warn the world about something the crew had already begun to fear. The captain's voice, barely audible through the static, cracked over the radio. "Something's wrong. The ship is not responding like it should. We're hearing things. It's not just the current. It's like something's inside the ship with us. We're not alone." The transmission abruptly cut off. And with it, the SS Valiant vanished from the radar. A global search effort was immediately launched, with navies from several nations scrambling to find any sign of the lost submarine. Days turned into weeks. No wreckage. No signals. No trace. The sea, vast and endless, swallowed the SS Valiant without a single clue to its whereabouts. A handful of theories were put forward: equipment malfunction, catastrophic flooding, perhaps an attack, but none of them made sense. No explosion. No distress signals. Nothing. Just a ship that vanished. The world had no answers. And neither did the families of the crew, who were left in an agonizing limbo. They clung to the hope that their loved ones were somehow alive, drifting somewhere in the deep, waiting to be found. But as the days dragged on, that hope began to wither, replaced by a suffocating fear of the unknown. Where could they be? What happened? Was there something, or someone else out there? The theories continued to grow more bizarre and disturbing. Some claimed that the submarine had encountered an undersea earthquake, causing it to collapse into an abyss. Others whispered about a military experiment gone wrong. But those closest to the case, the men who had served alongside Commander Evans, were convinced of one thing. Something had been waiting for them. Something that had made sure they never came back. And then, months later, just as the search was officially called off, the unthinkable happened. The SS Valiant was found. But not in the way anyone had hoped. The wreckage appeared on the ocean floor, 500 miles off course from its last known location. But there was no sign of any violence. The hull wasn't torn apart. There were no burn marks, no evidence of explosions. It was as if the submarine had just disappeared and then reappeared. But the most chilling part? It had been lying there, undisturbed, for far longer than it should have been. The world had been looking in the wrong place. And as investigators boarded the wreckage months later, they found a haunting discovery that only deepened the mystery. The final logbook of Commander Evans. It was clear something had gone horribly wrong, something that no one had dared to explain. What they found there, written in the captain's last moments, would haunt anyone who dared to understand the truth. Decades passed before anyone dared to revisit the wreckage of the SS Valiant. For years it was considered a lost cause, a forgotten piece of history, a tragedy lost to the abyss. But in the early 2000s, a team of deep-sea explorers, equipped with the latest sonar and underwater technology, set out on a mission to find what no one else had dared to. They were prepared for a simple salvage operation, a routine recovery of wreckage long thought lost. What they didn't expect was to uncover something far darker than anyone could have ever imagined. The location was, in itself, a mystery. Far deeper than anyone had anticipated. The SS Valiant had been recorded to have vanished in an area near 3,000 meters below the ocean's surface. A depth so extreme that the technology of the era would have made it nearly impossible for the submarine to reach, let alone survive in. And yet, that was where the wreckage was found. At first, the team couldn't believe it. The sonar images showed a hulking shape resting on the seabed, partially obscured by thick layers of underwater silt. It looked as if it had been lying there for centuries, forgotten by time. But the date stamped on the wreckage told a different story. The submarine was remarkably intact, despite the incredible depth it had been resting at. As the recovery operation began, the crew was astonished to find that the submarine's hull, though dented and cracked from the pressure of the deep sea, showed no signs of any explosion or external damage. No scorch marks. No violent ruptures. The structure of the ship appeared, almost untouched, like it had quietly sunk to the bottom of the ocean on its own accord, with no signs of a catastrophic failure. The crew had expected to find a grave, a wreck that was broken, mangled, or burned. Instead, what they encountered was a ship with mysterious, unexplained damage, unlike anything they had seen before. The SS Valiant's interior told an even more perplexing story. Inside, everything appeared eerily preserved. The walls were covered in a thin layer of slime, indicative of the passage of time and the depths at which it had been resting. Yet strangely, the items within were left untouched, perfectly in place, almost as though they had been left behind just hours before. Personal belongings were scattered about. The crew's uniforms, photographs, and even half-eaten meals. It was as if the entire crew had simply disappeared, leaving everything behind, without a single sign of distress. In some cabins, their belongings were arranged in neat rows, and in others, it was clear that no violence had taken place. Items were not broken or damaged. Nothing was out of place, other than the fact that the people who had owned them were gone. The most chilling discovery came in the captain's quarters. There, the logbook of Commander Evans was found, tucked away in a drawer, its pages yellowed and stained with salt water. The final entry was brief but devastating. "We are not alone. There is something here. I don't know how much longer we can hold out." But beyond this, there was no further explanation. No note of what had happened. No record of what the crew had faced in their final moments. The rest of the logbook had been torn out, as if someone, or something, had taken it. As the recovery team made their way through the rest of the ship, they noticed other signs that didn't make sense. There were no signs of human remains. No bones. No bodies. No evidence that anyone had died inside the SS Valiant. Yet, everything suggested that the crew had been there, just moments before. The wreckage was like a snapshot frozen in time, but one that didn't make sense. Soon, rumors began to spread. Stories of ghostly sightings, of crew members who had vanished without a trace, and whispers of strange sounds heard from the depths. Some began to suggest that the submarine had come across something so terrifying that the crew had fled, leaving behind everything they knew. The eerie preservation of the submarine only added to the growing sense of dread. Within weeks, the discovery of the wreck was leaked to the press, and what followed was a frenzy of speculation. Experts began to weigh in, offering their own theories. Everything from equipment malfunctions to the idea that the submarine had stumbled upon a secret military experiment gone wrong. Some went even further, suggesting that the SS Valiant had encountered a force far beyond human understanding. A force that had taken the crew and left the ship behind as a warning. The true cause of the SS Valiant's disappearance remained a mystery. Yet the deeper the investigators dug, the more questions arose. What had the crew experienced in those final moments? Was there something in the water that no one could comprehend? Or had they truly encountered something supernatural? The story of the SS Valiant was far from over. The wreckage had given them more questions than answers, and the mystery had only grown more unsettling. The further the explorers delved into the haunting remains of the submarine, the more they realized that what had happened to the SS Valiant was not just a shipwreck. It was something far darker, something far more disturbing. And as the rumors spread, one thing became clear. The SS Valiant had left behind more than just a wreck. It had left behind a chilling mystery that would continue to haunt those who dared to uncover it. Amid the eerie silence that enveloped the SS Valiant wreck, something far more unsettling was uncovered. Something that would change everything we thought we knew about the submarine's fate. Among the debris, a journal belonging to one of the crew members was found, soaked with salt water, but surprisingly intact. It was a relic of the past, a fragment of a reality that had been long buried, and it held the only surviving record of what had truly happened aboard the ill-fated vessel. Didn't belong. The feeling of being watched intensified, creeping into the bones of the crew. At first glance, the entries seemed ordinary enough. The early pages described the routine of a deep-sea mission, checking systems, maintaining the ship's integrity, ensuring communication lines remained open. The atmosphere aboard the SS Valiant was calm, nothing out of the ordinary. The crew was going about their daily tasks, the mission progressing as expected. The tone was typical of any submarine expedition. Mundane, professional, devoid of any sense of impending doom. But as the pages turned, something began to shift. The calm entries turned into something far more unsettling. The first hint of disturbance appeared in a simple note, jotted down hastily in the middle of a shift. The hull, it groans. Not like usual. Something's off. It was a strange comment, one that could easily be dismissed as the normal stress of the submarine's pressures. But the following days painted a different picture. The groaning of the hull persisted, but it was accompanied by sounds that no one could explain. We've heard it again. At first, I thought it was just the currents or the machinery, but now it's more. Scraping, knocking. Almost like someone is tapping on the hull from the outside. The crew's unease began to build. The sounds weren't just random noises of the deep sea. They seemed deliberate, almost as if something, or someone, was trying to communicate with them. No one could make sense of it. The ship's sonar readings remained stable, and no other vessel was in the area. Still, the tapping, the groaning, the strange vibrations in the hull continued. Then, things began to get worse. The crew started noticing other oddities. Crew members reported seeing fleeting shadows out of the corner of their eyes, figures that would vanish as soon as they tried to focus on them. The journal entry that followed was vague, the words hurried, almost written in fear. I swear I saw someone pass by the corridor. It was too fast. No one was supposed to be there. As the days passed, the reports grew more erratic. The captain, who had previously dismissed these events as nothing more than the stress of the mission, began to acknowledge that something was indeed wrong. One of the crew members had been found in a catatonic state, staring at the empty corridor with wide, unblinking eyes. The only explanation he could offer was that he had seen something, but when pressed for details he could not, or would not, speak further. It wasn't just the hallucinations or the strange sounds anymore. It was as if the SS Valiant itself had become a living entity, alive with an inexplicable force that no one understood. Doors would open and close on their own. Crew members swore they heard faint whispers in the silence, and sometimes, when they entered certain rooms, they felt an overwhelming coldness, an unnatural chill that didn't belong. The feeling of being watched intensified, creeping into the bones of the crew. The captain's logbook reflected the growing terror aboard. His handwriting became increasingly erratic, as if he himself was slipping into a state of panic. It's happening again. The voices. I can hear them in the walls. I can't sleep. Every time I close my eyes, I see shadows. There's something down here with us, I'm sure of it. God help us. But it wasn't just the captain. Other crew members were beginning to exhibit signs of psychological strain. Some spoke of hearing their names called from the darkness. Others claimed to have felt invisible hands brushing against them in the night. And the tapping on the hull? It grew louder, more persistent, as if it was coming from beneath them now. Something, or someone, was in the depths, trying to reach them. Then came the final entry. The one that sent chills down the spine of anyone who read it. The words were rushed, disjointed, as if written in a frenzy of fear. We are being watched. I can feel it. There's something out there. It knows we're here. If someone finds this, if anyone finds this, please. Flee. Do not come. It's not safe. It never will be. The final words were jagged and hurried, as though the writer was preparing to escape, to run from something that was closing in. But what was it? What force had overtaken the SS Valiant? What was it that had driven the crew to such terror, that had caused them to flee into the unknown depths of the ocean? The final message, cut off abruptly in the middle of a sentence, leaves behind an unsettling sense of finality. The journal was the last known trace of the crew. After that entry, there was no record of what happened. No indication of whether the crew managed to escape, or if the SS Valiant continued its course toward its inevitable fate. The pages end with the single cryptic warning, an instruction to run, to flee, but from what? The discovery of the journal only deepened the mystery surrounding the submarine's disappearance. The crew had been so certain that something was watching them, something terrifying. What could possibly have caused them to react in such a way? To abandon all reason and abandon ship without a trace? No one knows for sure. But the final words of the crew member remain, forever etched in the mystery of the SS Valiant. If someone finds this, FUJA. As we dive deeper into the mystery surrounding the disappearance of the SS Valiant, numerous theories have emerged, each darker and more chilling than the last. These theories offer potential explanations for the strange events that transpired aboard the submarine. And while they may seem far-fetched, they also raise unsettling questions that continue to linger. With each possibility, the line between reality and the unknown becomes blurrier, leaving everyone who hears the story questioning what they would have done if they were in the crew's shoes. Theory 1. The creature of the depths. The ocean, with its vast, unexplored expanse, has long been a source of terror and fascination. From the deep, dark trenches where light never reaches, to the eerie, desolate voids where life forms unimaginable to the human eye could exist, there are whispers of creatures lurking beneath the surface. Creatures far older, far larger, and more powerful than anything known to mankind. Could one of these ancient sea monsters be responsible for the SS Valiant's disappearance? Some claim that reports of mysterious, unidentifiable creatures have surfaced from the depths of the ocean in similar circumstances. There are stories of sailors encountering massive tentacles emerging from the blackness, or hearing the sounds of something enormous brushing against the hull of their ships. Perhaps something of this nature attacked the SS Valiant, a creature whose size and strength were beyond human comprehension. These creatures might have been lying dormant in the abyss, waiting for a disturbance in their realm. When the SS Valiant entered their domain, they may have been targeted, their vessel torn apart by forces too terrifying to fathom. Could the strange sounds recorded in the crew's logs have been the creature's signals, warning the crew away? And the inexplicable disappearances? Perhaps they were dragged into the ocean's depths, never to be seen again. Whether it was a giant squid, a prehistoric leviathan, or some yet-to-be-discovered horror, this theory suggests that the SS Valiant and its crew became the latest victims of something that had been waiting for eons beneath the sea. Theory 2. The paranormal phenomenon. Another theory that refuses to fade is one rooted in the supernatural. Could the disappearance of the SS Valiant be linked to a phenomenon more paranormal in nature? The ocean, known for its eerie, mysterious qualities, has long been associated with supernatural occurrences. The Bermuda Triangle, a region notorious for unexplained disappearances of ships and aircraft, has given rise to countless legends about ghost ships and the vanishing of entire crews. Could the SS Valiant have entered a similar zone, a region of the ocean where multiple vessels have disappeared without a trace? Many sailors believe that certain areas of the ocean are cursed, where the souls of those lost at sea become trapped, forever haunting the waters they once sailed. Could the SS Valiant have encountered such a phenomenon? Some have even speculated that the crew members were not lost to the sea, but were taken by the spirits of sailors who had met untimely deaths before them, forever condemned to remain on the vessel they had once called home. The ghostly whispers heard by the crew could have been the voices of the dead, calling out in desperation, warning the crew of the danger that lay ahead. Others suggest that the crew's experiences could be connected to a dimensional rift, a tear in the fabric of reality itself. What if the SS Valiant entered a zone where the boundaries between the physical world and another realm became blurred? The strange phenomena, voices, shadows, and unexplainable occurrences could have been glimpses into an alternate dimension, one that exists alongside our own. This theory hints at the possibility that the SS Valiant wasn't lost in the ocean, but rather trapped in a parallel world, where time and space behave differently. The crew's descent into madness might have been the result of their exposure to this bizarre reality, as they tried to understand what was happening to them, and why they were no longer in control of their own fate. Theory 3. A secret military experiment gone wrong. What if the SS Valiant wasn't simply a regular submarine on a routine mission, but part of something far more sinister? Some have speculated that the disappearance of the SS Valiant was the result of a secret military experiment gone horribly wrong. During the Cold War era, governments around the world were involved in highly classified projects involving advanced technology, some of which bordered on science fiction. It's possible that the SS Valiant was testing experimental technology, perhaps a form of time or space manipulation, that inadvertently led to its disappearance. If this theory holds any weight, the strange phenomena experienced by the crew could be explained by an experiment gone awry. Perhaps they inadvertently stumbled upon an undiscovered force, a powerful, uncontrollable energy that distorted time and space within the vessel. The tapping sounds, the distorted reality, and the crew's unexplainable behavior could all be the result of being trapped in a shifting, unstable pocket of space-time. The final, chilling entry in the journal, if someone finds this, FLE, could have been a warning that the crew had discovered something beyond human understanding, something that caused them to lose all sense of reality. Was the SS Valiant part of a covert military operation to manipulate the very fabric of time and space? If so, it's possible that this experiment opened a door to something that no human mind was meant to comprehend. As the crew became entangled in forces they couldn't control, their lives, and the submarine, were lost to the sea. Theory 4. A dimensional rift in the ocean. The most chilling of all the theories, and one that defies the laws of physics as we understand them, is the possibility of a dimensional rift opening in the depths of the ocean. Could the SS Valiant have passed through a rift in space-time, an anomaly that warped the submarine and its crew into an entirely different dimension or reality? Some physicists and theorists have proposed the existence of wormholes, rips in the fabric of space-time that can connect two distant points in the universe, or even open gateways to parallel universes. Could such a rift have opened beneath the SS Valiant? This theory suggests that the crew of the SS Valiant wasn't simply lost at sea. They were transported to a different plane of existence. The strange phenomena they experienced aboard the submarine could be the result of their entry into this otherworldly realm. Perhaps the crew was sucked into a dimension where the laws of physics, time, and space don't apply, and they were never able to return. The tapping sounds, the shifting reality, and the eerie sensations of being watched could have been a product of this unstable, foreign dimension, where reality itself was distorted. The final warning in the journal, if someone finds this, FLE, could have been a desperate plea to keep others from making the same mistake. Could the crew have realized too late that they had crossed into a realm where no human was meant to tread? The disappearance of the SS Valiant might have been the result of this very rift, a tragic incident that no one could have foreseen, leaving behind nothing but whispers of a world beyond our own. As terrifying as these theories are, none of them provide a clear answer. Each one opens more questions, each more horrifying than the last. And while some may never be proven, the lingering question remains: what happened to the crew of the SS Valiant? What was the true cause of their disappearance? And will we ever truly know the terrifying truth? The mystery continues to haunt those brave enough to search for answers. The mystery of the SS Valiant and its ill-fated voyage remains one of the ocean's most terrifying unsolved puzzles. Despite years of exploration and countless theories, the truth behind the disappearance of this submarine and its crew has never been fully explained. No one truly knows what happened that fateful day. Was it a sea monster? A paranormal occurrence? A military experiment gone wrong? Or something far more sinister, something beyond our comprehension? The mystery endures, lurking in the shadows of the deep, waiting for someone brave enough to uncover its secrets. But even then, we may never know the full extent of the horror that transpired beneath the waves. And that's what makes it all so terrifying. What if it happens again? What if there are other ships, other submarines, lost to the ocean, their fates sealed in a way we cannot even imagine? The truth is, the deep sea is still an enigma, a realm where strange and unexplained events have occurred for centuries. Each year, more vessels vanish, and new theories emerge, each one more chilling than the last. The SS Valiant is not the only one. There are other stories, other mysteries, hidden beneath the waves, waiting to be discovered. What if we're only scratching the surface? What if the ocean holds more horrors than we could ever fathom? The unknown is a dangerous place, and the deep sea, with its cold, dark depths, may be hiding things we are not ready to face. Things that, once uncovered, might be too much to bear. Now we turn to you, the viewer. What do you think? Which theory do you believe holds the truth? Was it a creature of the deep, a paranormal encounter, a military secret gone wrong, or something far more unimaginable? Your thoughts and theories are as important as any, because as much as we try to explain the mysteries of the ocean, the truth may lie in the unknown, waiting for someone to uncover it. Leave your thoughts in the comments below. Let us know what you think happened to the SS Valiant, and if you believe we're on the verge of discovering something far darker in the depths of the sea. If you want to hear more stories like this, more chilling mysteries that have yet to be solved, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, activate the notification bell, and prepare yourself. Because there are more mysteries out there, and they are waiting to be discovered. Silence. The radio cuts off abruptly. Only static remains. The eerie sound lingers in the air, sending a chill down your spine.